Welcome to Beyond the Boundary. This is Ishaan Shahane, your host from Revsportz. With us today evening, we have another sporting powerhouse. He's someone who's played Mumbai Ranji Trophy. He's played in the IPL for KKR, and currently he's the COO of UP Warriorz. Kshemal, it's an honor to have you on the show.
I'm very good, and yeah, I never consider myself as an IPL player because I was only part of the so-called sort of contracted players list. Not that never ended up playing, but I'm doing very good at this moment because it's brilliant to sit and watch the IPL from the
Yes.
couch, and yeah, without any pressure.
Awesome, awesome. So, there's a lot to cover in the next 25 minutes, and I would like to get started off with your journey with cricket. How did that happen? Were you always passionate about it, or it's something that just cultivated you with time? Like it's something that gravitated towards you with time. How did that happen?
Um, so interesting. Actually, I'm having to think about how my journey started. I actually don't think I had any interest in the sport to
Hmm.
begin with. I preferred to ride horses. I was pretty decent at it. I just happened to grow too tall all of a sudden. And my dad, Kshemal Waingankar, obviously has been associated with cricket for about 50 or 60 years in different capacities. And yeah, I suppose at when I was very young, he had already finished doing the BCA
Yeah.
Mafatlal bowling scheme. And a lot of the players who had already made it big by then or had already played for India would visit him quite regularly. And I would end up playing with them as a kid in my home. Um, Cut to about, say, 97, 98. It so happened, I think Yuvraj Singh was one of the. Yuvraj Singh was in Bombay. He came and
Hmm.
stayed with us. And
Yeah. Heard of it. Yeah.
it was my job to take him by train from Andheri to the Elfing Sarkar Academy at the
Oh.
time. I was 13, he was 16, but yeah, I had to learn how to go by train with him. And yeah, I think during that summer, is when I actually started enjoying bowling. I was
Right.
no good at batting, so I started enjoying bowling. The following summer, I started playing a little bit more cricket.
Awesome. Awesome.
Got picked at the Bombay Under 16 team, and my first game or my first tour was to Calcutta. So we flew there and we got allowances. So I was like, this is brilliant, right? I
Hmm.
mean, I think I want to do this for life.
Yeah.
And that's
No better job than that. Yeah, you're right.
no better job than that. So I said, this is brilliant. I think I want to do this for life now. I'm going to stick around and just see how this goes, how this pans out.
Awesome. So, Shimal, would you say that, you played your under 16, under 14s to eventually make it to Ranji Trophy? You weren't someone who burst into the scene, right? You were someone who gradually went through the process and eventually made it to Ranji Trophy.
Yes and no, because there were guys who had played on my team who had started off much earlier than me. I started off at the age of 15 and I made it to the team in the first sort of first time that I played Shatkat Trophy. I played it to the Bombay 60
Hmm.
team. Um, yeah, so I think people start playing at the age of 6, 7, 8
Yeah,
now. I
that's true.
probably started 15. I know people who have started playing much later and have gone on to play for India as well.
Awesome.
It's usually the bowlers who end up doing that.
That's right. That's right. Shimal, playing for your state, especially Mumbai, is a huge honor. I've heard it from a lot of people. What was your experience playing for Mumbai and some of the lessons you've learned from playing Ranji Trophy cricket?
Hmm. It's very unique to play Ranji
Yeah.
Trophy for Mumbai compared to any other state. Um, because the general culture and the systems that are there in Mumbai cricket are very, very different from a competitive standpoint as well. There are that at the time there used to be the time shield, which involved the top players from the country coming in and playing for different
Hmm.
corporates, and you had to do really well over there to be able to come into the Mumbai Ranji
Yeah.
Trophy team. So by the time you've come into the Mumbai Ranji Trophy team, if you're a batter, you probably got runs against the top bowlers in the country already.
Yeah.
If you're bowler, you've already and you've picked up a few wickets, like a few fifers. That means you've probably got a few international cricketers out quite regularly to be able to make it to the Mumbai Ranji Trophy team.
Yes.
Then came the legacy, the history that you were sort of representing, right? And that itself is a very, very high pressure environment. So everything that you do just is all high performance. It's just continuously pushing you to get better and better.
Yeah.
So it's a very unique space. There is no margin for error. You're constantly, even in practice, just playing with the best. I mean, who
Hmm.
gets to say that they get to practice with a Sachin Tendulkar
Too many
on the
people,
day,
yeah.
or a Rohit Sharma, or a Rahane, or Ajit Agarkar, or Zahir Khan. So when you're bowling with some of the best guys in the country. If you're batting against some of the best guys
Yeah.
in the country. So yeah, it's a very unique sort of experience, if I'm honest, and a challenging one, but very fruitful experience as well. The dressing room, in a way, looks after each other very, very well as
True.
well, right? From the younger guys to the older guys.
And I'm sure you must have learned a lot on the field. A lot of people say you learn more actually in the playground, on the field, than you actually do in the classroom. And you've played at the highest level for Mumbai. So, what are some of the lessons that you've actually taken from the game and put it into your work at the moment?
Um, I think the biggest learnings for me would be perseverance, discipline, and also the sense of camaraderie.
Yeah.
So there are days in cricket, fortunately or unfortunately, where you may be the best performer, but your team doesn't do well, and that
Yeah.
doesn't feel good at all. And there are days when you either score a zero or you dropped it like an easy catch, but you go on to win the game by 1 run, and that's the
Mhm.
best feeling ever. So it's it's quite interesting when you think about the fact that input is not necessarily equal to output
That's
in
true.
this
Yeah.
sport. Right, so that was a key learning. You
Yeah.
you may work the hardest, but you may not get the desired result, because you're dependent on so many other forces, so many other people, so many other variables, and that makes you humble to begin
That's
with.
true. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think that's one of my biggest learnings. The other thing is obviously just continuing to sort of work behind one particular goal, just
Mhm.
constantly trying to get better.
Yes.
Think that's something that has stayed with me. It will probably end up staying with me for life now, because um, anything you pick up, you want to take it to the finish line and you want to do your
Yeah.
best in that space, right? And I think that those two are potentially the key sort of learnings, if you call it, from my time with the Mumbai team.
I couldn't agree more. And did you have any favorite, teammates or some, just your friends who you really bonded with, some of them, and maybe some funny incidents or memories that you could share from that time?
Oh, plenty. I mean, I don't think I have any favorites as such, but we have a very close circle with say the likes of Abhishek Nair,
Yeah.
Sushant Marathe, Vedant Yaligetti, Sahil Kukreja, Bhavin Thakkar. All of
Yes.
us are very close to each other. Um, I had very fond memories with Ajit Agarkar as captain. I think I really enjoyed playing under him as cap when he was captain. I really enjoyed bowling with, say, someone like an Avishkar Salvi. I think I
Hmm.
really liked
Yeah.
how he went. And then thereafter, I think Dhaval and Shardul really enjoyed how they went about doing their processes. Yeah, how they just kept coming in, day out. Like it's went through the grind, went through multiple injuries. But so yeah, I think plenty of people, if I may say, I think, and it's obviously whatever little time you got to spend with say Zahir or Sachin Tendulkar was again phenomenal.
Just
Sort of,
priceless. Yeah.
yeah.
That's amazing. Shemal, you mentioned that you didn't have much of a contribution in the IPL, but still being part of that squad is a big thing in itself. So, how that experience for you of just being in the IPL? I think you were in the first edition of the IPL, if I'm right. And how
No.
that
So I
ex
was actually with KKR, I think. So funny
yeah,
story this, right? I mean, now I'm on the business side of things and the
yeah,
administration side of things. And a part of me not being able to play the IPL has actually put me where I am now.
yeah.
So that was a good year for me in domestic cricket. I'd done well. I picked up a few wickets. Even against England when they were touring India, I picked up a fifer or something of that sort. And it just so happened that just 10 or 15 days prior to the IPL, I had a heel stress fracture. And I remember this was in Calcutta, and I remember that I was in tears. I was almost I was
Heartbroken.
obviously
Yeah.
heartbroken that, oh, here goes my chance to play and represent Kolkata Knight Riders. And this was the second year when the IPL was going to be in South Africa. And I remember Joy Bhattacharya coming in, sitting next to me and saying, here's your contract, sign it, give it back to me. And I was thinking, surely not, right? I mean, there's no way I'm going to be able to play.
Yeah,
He said, no, but we will look after you. We want to consider you for the coming season as well.
that's
So
awesome.
don't worry about this. That's fine. And that empathy that the gentleman showed at the time, that stuck with me. And that's kind of stuck with me, and that kind of helped me when I had to make a decision to come back into sport. I
Yeah.
was like, if I can marry my experiences of having played the sport and learn the business side of things, how can I then go about contributing? What's the best
True.
contribution I can have, and what sort of um, yeah, what's the sort of impact I can then put out there, right? So yeah, I'm indebted to him again for
Yeah.
probably just being kind at that moment.
That's true. I think at times you need some people in your life to just give you that nudge and take you ahead. I don't think you can do it by yourself. So
Oh, never.
valid point there, Kshemal. And Kshemal, the IPL's really grown into something spectacular. Did you expect it at that time when you were playing, or is it fascinating for you now when you watch it?
Um, Expected for it to become big or bigger. Maybe when it started, nobody really knew what
Yeah.
it was. But after season one, obviously everyone had an understanding of how big this could potentially become. I think there was a phase in 2012, 13 where I just felt like, oh wow, this has just gone to a next level now.
Picking up, yeah.
Where people were just hitting sixes left, right, center. I mean, domestic cricketers had caught up with international cricketers. So I think things have changed significantly in 5 years.
Yes.
So,
And do you think there are any upcoming talents that you're extremely fond of, or someone that you have noticed who you think can possibly make it really big?
oh, very exciting to see Mayank Yadav.
Mayank
I
has,
mean, who
yeah. You
doesn't
must
want to
be
watch someone
thrilled.
who's bowling 150?
Yeah.
Like, especially from someone who bowled at 120 and 125, maybe it's just super exciting for me to watch someone who's bowling 155 and making the Australians sort of like,
Yeah.
yeah, miss that are straight in the stumps.
No,
So
that's special. That's really special. Yeah. So
it's,
I
yeah,
think,
it's
yeah, I mean,
fascinating.
it's a platform, and I think talents like this, need a platform to go on and shine. Vimal, so you're with the UP Warriors at the moment, and women's cricket is really developing with time. See, 5 years back, it's nowhere close to what it is today. So, personally, how happy does that make you feel? And where do you want to take this in the future?
So before I answer question
Yeah.
one and two, I think firstly, what we see now with the WPL, I think work has gone in behind the scenes for multiple years prior to that.
Hmm.
The BCCI has done a phenomenal job of putting together a lot of good structured camps along the way. They did a pilot of the WPL by doing the WT20 challenge for a couple of years, and that's when the overseas players came in and showcased their skills, and we got a sense of, I suppose, how much depth there is in terms
Yeah.
of talent. Um, it's just a space that's just going to go up and up and up.
All
Right?
right.
There is
Hmm.
potential for exponential growth in that space. I think women's cricket is just going to be going through the roof. The other brilliant thing that has happened, which is not talked about enough, is the fact that there is now an under 15 tournament
Wow. Okay.
at the state level,
Okay.
which is again brilliant. So whilst the WPL is a space that people want to go up to, I think the under 15 level allows people to not drop off, right?
Wow.
The
Yeah.
gap would have been too big if we started off the under 19 level. The kids at 13, 14, 15 can't compete physically with 18, 19-year-old girls.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There was a drop off there. Now that is not going to happen anymore, and they can actually develop at a better pace. Now they'll in fact develop knowing fully well what is expected of the WPL over the next 5 years.
Hmm.
So by the time the under 15 girls come up to the WPL, we'll be exactly where we were at the IPL
That's
in
awesome. Yeah.
2012, 13. We will see like a whole group of talented cricketers coming in who will be competing, and the overseas players will end up filling spots
Wow.
where necessary, right? I think, and that's a space that's very exciting to me. I think where we come in is that we, as a franchise, we look at our contribution as facilitators. How can we help in the development of some of these girls who are with us?
Yes.
So as we speak, we have in fact set up a camp, and we try and bring in expert coaches to work with some of these girls. Where if we can help them in their career cycle and potentially get them to play for the country, our job is done.
Yeah.
I mean, whilst WPL or winning the WPL is the ultimate aim, I think personally, I think there'll be a lot of happiness that we will all get if we are able to see someone's career path grow significantly and they make it to the Indian
That's so
team.
true. Yeah. And you'd also give a lot of credit to grassroots developments, right? I mean, if you feel that the WPL should grow in the future and women's cricket has to develop, there has to be a lot more grassroots developments that take place all across the country. Am I right when I say this?
Which is absolutely right, and which is why
Yeah.
I am saying that BCCI deserves an unbelievable amount of credit to set up the under 15 tournament.
Yeah.
That does it is sets a clear pathway for players to reach the top. There isn't as much attrition, so that just is very, very useful.
And do you see the WPL growing with every season? Like, is that the plan that's been laid out, that this is something that has to grow every season? Because I think this season was the biggest that there has been up till now. Do you think it's going to get even bigger than this?
When you say growth, I mean commercially for sure. When you say growth from a technical standpoint, potentially 100%. I mean, there's going to be more players coming through the system. There'll be more talent that will shine through. If you look at just like growth from season 1 to season 2,
Yes.
the top six hitters from season 1 to season 2 has changed significantly. Guess what? The top six hitters were all Indians.
Yeah.
In season 2. So in the year, all of a sudden, people have gone on and expressed themselves, and see the fact that we've always had the ability. Now they have a platform to showcase their skills, and they were doing that. Commercially, this property is going to grow even more because there are brands that have not been associated traditionally with the IPL. They will start associating with the WPL. We had a couple of beauty brands that were part of our commercial partnership model. And yeah, I think that's just going to grow further and further as we go.
That's really nice. I think that's what the sport needs as well. It just can't be male dominated. Do you have any favorite player, Kshemal, from the women's league, and just someone that
you're putting me on the spot here. I will say no to that.
All right, okay.
And I think I admire a lot of good cricketers across the world. I think we have some phenomenal cricketers on our team. Dipti Sharma, Alyssa, Grace.
Yes.
Plus, I mean, if I look at the way Harman just goes about doing her business, Smriti is just incredible. Richa Ghosh, I think, is someone who is going to be a future superstar. Right? Yeah, so very exciting. I am waiting for the time when Indian fast bowlers start bowling at the pace or start competing at the pace as Shabnim Ismail does.
Yeah.
And that's the day that I think will be far more exciting. It's just a bit like Mayank Yadav coming and doing what he's doing now.
100%. Kshemal, I think we're nearing the end of the conversation. I usually ask every guest of mine, just one lesson that you would like to pass on to someone who's probably, watching this. What would that be? I'm sure you must be having a lot of lessons that you have, taken with you in this journey. But one specific lesson, it can be from your father, a friend, whoever.
Don't take yourself too seriously.
Okay. I think that's the best sort of advice. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Well, enjoy the journey. I mean, you'll probably get where you are regardless of circumstances, or you may not get there. But I mean, yeah, don't take yourself too seriously. Just go about enjoying the part of the journey that you're within that space.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kshemal. I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope you did as well. It was great speaking to you, and I hope to see you soon.
Pleasure.
Thank you.